Omicron was first identified by scientists in South Africa in November. It has spread to over a dozen countries, including Australia, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, Britain, Hong Kong, Botswana, and Belgium. So, what is different about Omicron? And why is it deemed a high risk? Do vaccines work against it? What should you do? We answer.
We still have early data. That's what the WHO has been saying, and other scientists have also been pointing out. As of now, it does seem that it poses a little bit of greater threat compared to other variants, and the threats that seem to be evident as of now from early data. Number one is that it seems to be spreading at a faster rate compared to other variants. So the transmissibility seems to be greater. And number two, it does seem, as of now, again from early data, that it has some potential to evade human immune response. The immunity that has been generated in the people, either because of prior infection or because of vaccination, this particular variant seems to have some greater ability to bypass that immune system and sort of cause reinfection amongst people. So these are the two things that do seem that there are indications that these kind of this particular variant probably has these abilities, but as everyone has been repeating, these are just early indications. We do not know for sure, but it makes sense actually to take the threat seriously and then respond to it in a proper manner. One of the things that the WHO, the World Health Organization, said is that one of the widely used RT-PCR tests can probably detect the Omicron variant. Now, as we know, these diagnostic tests do not differentiate between different variants. The diagnostic tests are meant to only pick up infection. They only detect whether a person has been infected or not. What variant of virus is present in the human body, that requires a genetic sequencing effort. And that takes a little bit of time. You have to send a sample to the laboratory, and then they do the analysis, then get back. So it takes about 3 or 4 days, sometimes more of time. Now that's a crucial time. Some of the RT-PCR tests, some of the kits that are used for RT-PCR tests can possibly give an indication that the person is probably infected with Omicron variant. But number one, not all kits do that. Number two, it's just an indication, even though it's very important. Even that indication gives you a head start, so that's very important. And number three, you still have to confirm it from gene sequencing. But if the tests are able to give an indication, that's a big head start. The immunity that is generated by the vaccines does not always prevent an infection. And that's why we have been seeing so many reinfections happening, or infections amongst people who have been vaccinated. The effectiveness of the vaccine is not in preventing the infection in so much as reducing the severity of the disease and preventing deaths. So that is one of the things. But with this particular variant, the early data seems to suggest that compared to other variants, this has a greater ability to cause breakthrough infections, to evade the immunity that has been generated by the vaccines. Now, as of now, this is what the indication is. And if it actually turns out to be so, then maybe at some stage of at some stage the vaccine developers would probably start looking at making certain tweaks, if that is possible. But in itself, the fact that this causes that this evades immune response, that's already happening with other variants as well, even though this might have a greater ability. So in itself, that might not be a huge cause of worry till it also becomes clear that the infections that are being caused by this particular variant also leads to more serious diseases. Now, that is something that is not very clearly known, although there are some reports from South Africa, from the team that actually identified this variant for the first time. There are some indications that it does not cause very serious diseases, and actually it only leads to very mild diseases. Now, again, these are all preliminary conclusions. These are all based on very small sample of data, but this is the kind of information that we have, that this particular variant as of now does not seem to cause very serious diseases, and that can be that's one of the very, very crucial things if it actually turns out to be true. So from the people's perspective, they don't have to do anything different from what they are being advised to do right from the start of this pandemic. I mean, it's the same measures: take protection, take adequate precautions, maintain physical distancing, don't abandon your masks. Just the normal advice that is there since the start of the pandemic. There's nothing changes from the perspective of the general public, people like us. The risk assessment by the WHO, which came out, I think, on Sunday night, is a reiteration of its earlier advisories. There is no further information that it's relying on, and basically, I think, the WHO is. All that it is doing is striking a word of caution, and it's telling the countries to take all adequate precautions because the early signs do present a worrying picture. There are certain signals, as I said, two of the things: greater transmissibility and enhanced ability to bypass the immune system. These are signs which we should worry about, and therefore what the WHO is saying is, let's take all the precautions. Let's be safe rather than sorry, that kind of thing. So as everyone else has been, the scientific community has been repeating, it will take at least a few weeks' time to get a better picture on the abilities of this particular variant. Between 2 to 4 weeks, we would know with much greater certainty about what this variant does. But in this meanwhile, during this period, it actually makes a lot of sense to treat this with utmost care, to treat this as a big risk and take all the precautions that we can. That's all that the WHO has been saying.